Thank you for listening to Shulchanaruchharav.com.
What do you do if you accidentally placed food into your mouth and then you remembered you didn't say a bracha? Something that happens often when we're not paying attention. And there are three options available. Either I can spit it out and say a bracha, or I can eat it without a bracha, since I already put it in my mouth, or I can move the food to the side of my mouth and say a bracha with the food inside my mouth. So before we go into what the poskim have to say regarding this matter, we will first give the advantages and disadvantages of each one of these options and approaches. The deficiency of swallowing the food without saying a bracha in such a case is obviously that you end up benefiting, having hana from the world without blessing Hashem. The deficiency of placing the food in the side of your mouth and saying a bracha with the food in your mouth is that, as we learned in a previous halacha, it is forbidden to say a bracha with food in your mouth, or any item in your mouth. As the pasuk says, Yimale piti lasecha, that your entire mouth must be involved in praising God. And last but not least, the last option of spitting out the food has also a disadvantage in halacha, because it is forbidden to destroy or belittle or make food repulsive. And by doing so, most likely you will not re-eat that food. So whatever you do, it's not good. So what should you choose? So this case scenario is explicitly discussed in the Gemara in Brachis, page 50b, and likewise in the Yerushalmi Brachis, page 44b, and so is recorded in the Shulchan Aruch in the Mechaber, chapter 172, halacha 2, that there is a distinction and differentiation between two cases. If the food is a type of food which you can spit out and will not become repulsive to the person after it's spat out, you will return and eat it, then you must do so. As you are not making the food repulsive and you're now saying a bracha with an empty mouth before you eat the food. So that is your best option, and that's the option you have to follow. Thus, for example, you began chewing gum or eating a candy, sucking on a candy without a bracha, spit it out, say the bracha, and then put it back in because it's not repulsive. People do this all the time. They take the candy out of the mouth and put it back in. Continues over the Gemara and the Mechaber in Shulchan Aruch that if, however, the food will become repulsive after it's spat out, such as you already began chewing it and it's now piecey, you began eating a grape or a piece of bread, and you chewed it and now you're spitting it out, you're not going to want to eat it again after you spat it out. It becomes repulsive. In such a case, the halacha is that you place the food onto the side of your mouth, into your cheek, and you say the bracha with the food in your mouth. And the reason for this is because the prohibition against destroying food is more severe than the prohibition of saying a bracha with food in your mouth. So we'd rather you put the food inside of your mouth, say a blessing, than for you to spit it out. And practically this is the final halacha. So to summarize, you place food in your mouth and you didn't say a blessing. If the food will become repulsive when you spit it out, then you should say the bracha with the food in your mouth. If the food will not become repulsive and you will re-eat it after you spit it out, then that is what you should do. Say the blessing and then eat it again. All the above is regarding solids. What about liquids? So regarding liquids, things here begin to become halachically complex, as it's not really so viable to place the liquid in your cheek and say a bracha. Usually your mouth is filled with it, and it's no possibility to say a blessing while the liquid is in your mouth that you put in without saying a bracha. And we find major differences of approaches amongst the poskim, which Amir Hashem we will cover in a future halacha. So far, everything we discuss is only regarding solid foods, while liquids will be left for a future analysis.
Thank you for listening to Shulchanaruchharav.com. Our free services of making Torah knowledge available to the public depends on donors like you. Please help us continue our work through making even a small contribution at Shulchanaruchharav.com under the Daily Halacha Dedication section or in the subscription page. Also, check out our online courses and many sefarim available for purchase that will both enhance your Torah knowledge and help support our work.